Our topic is Holocaust, Remembrance, and Educational Aspect. It's an online panel, and we are with our friends from Wrocław and from Rzeszów. We have only 45 minutes, and there is a group from Wrocław. Christoph will talk, and after that, from Rzeszów, Katarzyna. So we will start. We have, it's a very busy session, and I want to present Professor Widawski and Professor Piotr and Julita and Christopher, dear friend, you can start.
Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen if you allow
do
me.
it.
Yes, this one.
You can try to share.
Okay, now can you see?
Okay, yeah, great, you can see it.
Okay, so let's just start because we got very limited time. It's education in tourism, information as a source of memory.
But please, some words about your group, okay?
Okay, my group, of course, I represent the group that Krzysztof Widawski is me in person. I'm from the University of Wrocław. I'm together with Piotr Lesiewicz, professor from Wrocław University of Health and Sports Sciences, and Dr. Rita Markiewicz-Patkowska from Business University in Wrocław. Our group, we cooperate together for some time, and one of our topics is the cultural aspect in the broader sense of the development of Poland. The Holocaust is one of the part of a quite difficult heritage, but still it's within our topic. So if you allowed me to start, because we have a limited time, today would like to present some information about the education in tourism, information as a source of the memory, on the examples of places related to the Holocaust in Poland during the Second World War. First, we have to start in a very short way to define the educational tourism. And this is one of the trends that have the higher growth, as wants Rodriguez, and it gives you in very general way the possibilities of learning, and this possibility of learning, this tendency grows significantly in last decades. Gladian Lab, they say that educational tourism is the act of the traveling with the intention and the purpose is to learn, to know something new in very general way. Then to be more specific, we know that the educational tourism refers primarily to the purpose of getting the learning experience, to experience something, not just theoretical approach, but also to experience something that may be attractive for you, for the traveler. And Richie, the main protagonist in the scope of the educational tourism, denotes that the educational tourism is an activity undertaken by those persons who are on vacation for learning, and the learning is as a whole or is a part of the trip, and education and learning is the primary or secondary thing to be done while traveling. The educational tourism should be viewed as a continuum. The purposeful learning and traveling, it goes together. You learn something while traveling, you travel, and during travel, learn. It's a different kind of school outside the school. It can also be independently or formally organized trip undertaken in a variety of the natural or human-made settings. So both natural and the cultural elements are important and useful for the educational tourism. And educational tourism, back again, is a newest definition offered by Professor Tang, can be broadly defined as a type of tourism dedicated to acquiring the new knowledge, not just this, also new skills, new language, or to promote formal education with knowledge acquisition or learning being the common threat that is associated to the travel. Virtual reality technologies, because this is an important part of our presentation, this user can be used to improve future tourist experience as a first step to the learning process, because we would like to focus on the information given to tourists before they start traveling, just before they depart. So we try to focus on the information online that then makes you offline tourist. So starting from the virtual reality, you skip to the real reality. So what is tourism is all about. That's why we'd like to see the importance of the internet or online application and as a source of information, also the educational term. And we can see it's common knowledge that nowadays the internet information becomes indispensable component of the modern traveling. Without internet, including the information that you can't travel. The internet is the predominant information source that tourists nowadays refer to while preparing the travel. Official tourism websites are considered to constitute the channel for the provision of the information. It's crucial for the decision-making process while choosing the destination, as Bukhari said. So if the information is properly prepared, the chance to travel to the given destination rises. And even they say that if something doesn't exist in internet, I mean, the information about this doesn't exist in internet, this doesn't exist for tourists at all. This shows the strong point of the information within the internet. The potential of the internet in generating the tourist interest is nowadays commonly recognized. We can't be surprised, we shouldn't be surprised about it. And the internet utility effectiveness in tourist destination can rises and ensure the high information accessibility. So the information on the internet is accessible worldwide. With this, you can get any kind of tourist, potential tourist, any kind of the target you would like to focus on, and providing a proper online image of the destination or resource is one of the crucial things. So question arises, what factors are the key ones in the decision-making process of the person surfing the internet whose aims is to choose a particular tourist destination or choose the certain tourism product? So what are the factors? First, sorry, because I lost this. It's a link between the information per se presented on the website and its credibility, the least to the potential tourist buying internet. So the information in the internet has to be reliable, so that this would work as a finally as a with the final decision to get the to pick the tourist destination. Can you see me? Because I got some.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I got some problem. Sorry.
It's okay.
The use of the visuals together the complete layout of the destination to be visited is another issue. And also, website should include being easy to navigate or user-friendly, as well as having irresistible features appealing to the customers. So the website has to contain something which is attractive. So information has to be presented in the attractive way. First, credibility is important, and then the attractiveness of the presentation. Information provided on high-quality destination websites should be complete, credible, usable, and persuasive. Therefore, that's why the internet used by tourist entities, organizers is a powerful source of the destination marketing and promotional tool and cannot be ignored. That's why I would like to focus on this element, how the information about the Holocaust is presented, is sent by internet to the possible tourists so that later then they are able to act as a responsible tourist with the specific knowledge. So first of all, we would like to see in where places, in which places in the website, so in the digital world, um, because every destination has got its website. We would like to see how and where this information about the Holocaust, so this educational aspect, history of the Holocaust, what is it, how it happened, how it is placed in the website. So information where and how. And we took into the consideration the websites of 7 places, the martyrdom places, we call it, the concentration camp that are ubicated in Poland, created by Germans during the Second World War. The most renowned one, iconic, it's not that good said, but it is worth like the Auschwitz-Birkenau, Kulmhof, Majdanek, Belgrade, Sobibór, Treblinka, and Stuttgart. So those are, oh, sorry, those are the opening websites for those places. Some of them may be in English, some of them in Polish, but it's another element, and Treblinka and Stuttgart. So let's see. In the first kind of information, the educational aspect, we can find in news. News that give the information about what is going on in the museum, in what way museum is prepared to face the tourist movement, and in what way museum recollect the memory, the common memory toward this phenomenon like Holocaust is. This is the example of Kulmhof from Treblinka. Practically every website has got this section news, and they present how they act during the functioning of the museum whole year long. No matter the kind of the shape of the information, still this exists. Another source of the information, also information, so educative approach, we can find on the map of museum of region, how it is visualized, this kind of information. Like for example, in the case of a Majdanek museum, here you've got the exact plan of the museum, and you can click on the point, and then you got inside some very short information. It's also information, also some that is educational element. Being there, you can meet table number 15, and there is the information why it is crucial. The same thing happened on the wider scale. We've got here in case the map of Lublin, and there are the places important for the martyrdom of people, mainly Jewish people, that died during the German occupation in Lublin, vicinity of Majdanek concentration camp. The same thing happened in Belgrade. Here we got the map of the whole region, and whole region is educational defined by points. Each point defines something, some phenomenon, some data, some information. So even map can work as a source of information in the website. And here we've got the plan. It's a case of Kulmbach. Again, we got the plan of the village where the museum is situated, and the museum and its rest, how it looks like nowadays. Then there is a specific section titled History of the Camp, and how it happened that it appeared in the space, how it worked, with the division, like an example in Helmner on period, very full, very detailed information of history of the camp. In case of Auschwitz-Birkenau, you can see the history, and here you've got so many subsections divided into some topics like categories of prisoners, fate of children, prisoner classifications, life of the camp. Here we've got the Auschwitz one, the description, the division of the Auschwitz. We can also information within the history of the camp, so detailed like punishment and executions. And one of them is shooting. You've got the description here, and it is also visualized with the picture, with the photo. They say that one picture serves more than 1,000 words. Here we've got this chance to present this way. Same thing happened in case of Majdanek, the description of work, of punishments, the deep information when you enter in the click on, you've got the short information on the work. And also you've got another tool to present the video with the conversation, the testimony of the from a prisoner that tells some short story, short movie, 1.5 minutes, talking about the punishments. In calendar, also we've got such information. Like for example, we've got a line of the years, and in every line you've got, if clicking on, you've got some development of information. Here the same in case of Stuttgart. There also, in a very short way, you've got some information about the strategy that took place during the Second World War. Also, information can be more detailed through the biographies, through the fate of the prisoners. In case of Majdanek, you can find the exact person by name and surname, and then you've got the short information of this person. You've got very detailed information about the museum, the collection of the archive, documentation, death records, prisoner photos, Sinti and Roma, registration documents, so detailed information, 320 different places you can search detailed information of the eventual camp in case of Auschwitz, prisoners' photos, medical documentation, so very detailed relation. In case of Treblinka, I've got biography by names, by surnames, and clicking on the letter, you can get the exact personality and then his history within the Holocaust history. Then we've got the history of the creation of the museum. There is small part of information that can be referred as the educational stuff to enlarge information about the Holocaust, but still it exists. History of the memorial, phase of existence. We've got also photos dedicated to creation. As you can see, then photo gallery, very important, because this picture what happened during the Second World War. We've got the different galleries, historical pictures and documents, memorials, exhibits, the arts of post-camp. Like for example, we've got the photos of the different sites of the former Auschwitz first site. You can click on and develop the photo that gives the picture of the space. The same happened in case of Kumho. While visiting, presentation for the visitors, what to do or how to visit, there's also the information of the educational kind, like basic information. In case of Auschwitz, we got a multi-book that present in detailed way this short movie, how to act while being there. We've got the line of life in each month, what happened, the crucial elements to be seen in Auschwitz. Same thing with the movie dedicated to the shape of the shape of the museum. Even within the rules of visiting, in the regulation, we also got the educational element, like for example, how to behave and why you should behave this way. It's a kind of rule of order. If you disobey, you're gonna be expelled because it's so important destination. It also got its educational teacher, like case in Majdanek as well, or Washu, in the same. We've got also a virtual tool that serves as if you would be there, just to know before you enter the virtual tool, then you can penetrate while clicking the arrows. You can see the panoramas to be to get the wider picture of every part of Auschwitz, for example. Even when you've got map, clicking on the dots, the different kind, you can see from the bird view, from the inside, or from the outside, depending on the color of the dot. In case of Kumhov, you are led by the arrows. In Stuttgart, while doing virtual to click on the elements, you've got the specific information of the part of the museum. What is it and why it's so important? One of the best presented which are tools is in this case of Stuttgart, same happened in Treblinka. Also, the description of the permanent temporal exhibitions, you've got plenty of them. You've got the information, you've got the photo, and here you've got the different elements that accompany this. So you can just imagine how huge and complex this information could be, and actually it is. No matter the museum, although we have to underline the importance and the best level of preparation for the educational element, the Auschwitz museum. Then, because we are run of time, as I can see, the most important, crucial, education, didactical support for the teachers to teach about the Holocaust before they come with students, with pupils. Meanwhile, and instead of, here we've got the books dedicated to this. You've got can download the movies dedicated to this, pictures, the source text, artifacts, maps, so schemes of the classes divided into two groups, the primary and the secondary schools. We've got some movies. Here we've got some all schedule how to prepare the lesson, what has to be done in what order, in which order, just to avoid any kind of misunderstanding. It's so important. The museums cope with this in a very detailed way. We've got e-learning classes with the offered by Auschwitz. We've got some facilities like the pictures of the prisoners that work to combine together with the text of the lesson. Here we've got the guide how to prepare the visit to museum, and this guide, it's so huge, it's more than 200 pages with a very detailed information why you should act like that there, and why it's so important, and what should be seen, and then what to be done not to such phenomenon, such challenges shouldn't be repeated, of course. And we've got plenty of this in the different museums, then exhibits the elements, the artifacts. This is the living stuff of the website. So this is the object of the month. In every month, the different exhibit is presented online, so that you will be able to see plenty different everyday elements that used to be used by prisoners until they leave and they finished everything, as what remains is just an object. It's also evokes to the people, and every museum's got such elements. The different kind of collections in kind of Auschwitz, but the categories of the collections. Then every museum offers application, both. You can download freely some part of them, in other you can buy. Here you've got the division of the categories, guidebooks, historical research, memories, and all the stuff. Altogether, 173 different publications just dedicated to the Holocaust. From the educational point of view, you educate somehow the receivers of the offer, of course. Then some different approach, different stories. So first, we've got way of giving information in a very formal way. So the history, the picture, and just like from the book. You've got this way, but also the presentation of the elements in the website evokes to the emotions of the people. Some kind of unofficial personal presentation that first the general gives you the knowledge. Here you can get shape your attitude toward what happened, the personality. Here we've got some hidden information, secret information are gonna be sent from time to time from the prisoners outside to get information to the family that I'm alive or stuff like that. The thing they were, it tells more than 20 minutes lecture about how they used to be were. Also, a testimony of the former prisoners. They don't talk the whole story, complicity of the political situation. No, they talk very personal suffering and the common day life, which is even much more tragic. You've got pictures, people greeting family or say goodbye forever to the family. It says more than any treaty, peace treaty or the war treaty or whatever. We've got also the chance to read the testimonies. You can click on in Kulmho, for example, and find different information about the deportation and how it was seen by the railway station worker that observed deportation of Jewish people to Kulmho, for example, and the short letter from some lady to her husband in ghetto, hoping they're gonna meet one day. Regretfully, this never happened. This make all the tragedy much more personal. Some postcards found in the belongings of the killed prisoners. Some information about short part of their life during their stay in Treblinka. Then multisensory message, also sense of sight is awake, hearing, and even taste and smell, sense of sight. You can see the museum, you can see the movie there is, you can see the picture, you can listen to the podcast, some audition, but also there's even in Auschwitz the book, Home and Cake, so a book of tastes, the former prisoners of Auschwitz were published just to show that they survived and life is stronger than death, even such cruel death. And this is the lesson for the future. Life is what's matter, and life is what wins. Sorry. So coming to conclusion, because I lost too much time, forgive me for this.
That's fine.
First, the website seems to be indispensable component of the tourist trip. Visiting guide, all the elements are part of the lesson for the receiver. Despite the wide variety of the information, some elements are constant. So we've got the description of the exhibition, historism, artifact. So we've got common elements no matter the museum, but gives you the background of the education about the Holocaust. The websites combine real and virtual space. We've got virtual walks or 3D walks, panoramas, active maps, combined with the photo gallery. So we combine those two words, written and visual. The websites are living pages. We've got news, so a chance to choose the proper time for visit, for example, but also ideas such as artifact of the month. So because of this living destination, living place, we can pick the exact moment where we'd like to visit because of, for example, some event that makes destination even much more attractive. The website has a multi-sensory effect, which is not always possible in a museum to the full extent, but photos, videos, podcasts. Websites show the different phases of the history concerning the educational element, supplementing the knowledge needed for the better understanding of the tourist resource, like museum is. General description, but also the more detailed, individual, intimate one, both the different attitudes we can get. This allows the future visitor to develop a desired attitude that will permanently change the perception of the bestiality of war and the planned murder of entire nations, like in case of Holocaust. No one denies that. Online information gives you the chance to get acquainted with the tourist space, even before starting the journey, which has an impact on the comfort in the reception of the resource and in the proper reception of the value. That's why this kind of information, online one, is so crucial for to get the tourist well educated to receive the value. And that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Kesheshtov Vidavsky.
Yeah.
And just a minute, what happened here?
I just clicked off the presentation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for Professor Piotr Oleshniewicz and Dr. Julita Markevich, all our friends from Wrocław. And please stay with us. Maybe we have time for questions. And now we are with Dr. Katarzyna from Rzeszów, so you can share your presentation.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I will start from the beginning. Thank you for having me, first of all, and the opportunity to show what I think is very important in last years in Poland, what has changed. And I would like to start with the map of Poland. On the left side, you can see the map before 1945, and on the right side after the year of 45. The history of Poland does not exist without Polish Jews, who for hundreds of years have been developing the country on many levels through active participation in social life. Moreover, the contribution of Jewish culture is invaluable. Without Polish Jews, there would have been no cinema, no music, no literature created in 3 languages: Jewish, Yiddish, Polish, and Hebrew. The Holocaust broke this Jewish life by destroying the people who created. For many years, it was believed during the communism time in Poland, after the war, the 50 years from 41 to 91, it was believed that Jewish life would never be reborn. That is what the end. Over the last 30 years, since Poland decided to be the part of democratic world, everything has changed. It is a slow process because those changes are difficult to make. Because the war was a very significant tragedy for Poland, for the whole country. But however, in the 90s, Jewish studies started to be more popular. People started to private initiative, they changed into big festivals. We cannot imagine summer without Jewish festival in Krakow, which gathered thousands of people, or Jewish festival in Warsaw, or the Yiddish seminar in Warsaw, made by Fundacja Shalom. It is everything together very important, but there is also some initiative I would like to mention. I will speak today about those, I don't know if you can see my mark, those 2 voivodeships. So it is a corner between Slovakia and Ukraine. Around 15 years ago, people started to commemorate International Holocaust Remembrance Day after launched by United Nations in 2005. And I had the honor to be part of the Rzeszów part for over 10 years. Here is some photos from the very first events. It started in 2009 and it continues. The first intention was to make a remembrance, to give a respect to those Jewish Polish citizens they perished in the Holocaust. But the idea behind it was also to educate people. That's why here we have Lucia Redman and Judith Elkin. They are from Israel and from United States, Holocaust survivors. They every year, literally every year, coming to the voivodeship, and they also having lectures with younger generations in schools with students to talk about their personal history. And here is one of the latest, I think the most significant things we reached with this event. It was started by Professor Wacław Wierzbieniec from the Jewish History and Culture Department in Institute of History of University of Rzeszów. And we started in 2009 with one location, Rzeszów, and in 2017 it was 70 locations. As you can see, I tried to show the quick view for you that it's not just on 27th of January, but it takes more than a week usually to cover all of those locations. Another initiative I would like to mention is Sądecki Sztetl. As you know, the Sztetl was the village, the city with a very high percentage of Jewish people before war. And those initiatives started by Łukasz Połomski over 10 years ago. And it started with the personal story of Łukasz. He was in contact with one of the Jewish survivors. And when that survivor died, he wanted to continue the memory of Jewish population around Nowy Sącz. And he started slowly to get more information. So at the beginning it was genealogy, the archives research, remembrance, taking care of cemeteries. They are abandoned and they needed to be cleaned and take to the proper situation, but also it is a platform to building Polish-Jewish relations. And Sądecki Sztetl is one of the biggest, one of the oldest initiative I would like to mention. As a part of Sądecki Sztetl, few years ago, it started a young guy, Dariusz Popiela. He is a sportsman, worldwide winning sportsman from the mountain area. And as I remember how it started for him, because he had nothing to do with the history. He was focused on his sport career. So there was a cemetery in Nowy Targ, and when he talked with local authorities, he said exactly how the project is called. It is about people. it's not about numbers. So it started, as you can see, those two pictures. The up is before, how the cemetery looked like, and down below is how it looked like today, what they did and what they created. And he started with one city and developed to Krościenko, Grybów, Czarny Dunajec. All of those cemeteries looked like you can see on the screen up. And he started with the cemeteries, with cleaning up, with making walls around them. But after all, he also started to educate himself and launch a foundation of the name of his family, and started to do more research. First of all, educate people and build awareness that the history is still going on and it is important to remember. You can see here is Dariusz with young kids from high school, with another kids, and here is the biggest, I think so far, something you can see, the impact of his work together with Sądecki Sztet is a monument with over 12,000 names, and it was launched last year. And on the bottom in the right corner you can see thousands of stones. They are prepared by kids with the Jewish names, and they were placed on the Jewish cemeteries. So as you can see, it's not just a cleaning cemetery, it's something more behind. And that what makes me and gives me more hope is that they trying to involve kids. And here is another things, what they're doing is restoring Jewish Matzevot, and it is made one movie about Dariusz and his work, because it's really amazing last 5 years, and it's now it's the movie is all over the world, even in Israel. He was a few weeks ago in Israel and had the opportunity to train canoeing with the Israeli national team, I think, or just Israeli team. Another example is Sztetu Mszana Dolna. As you can see, they also not just clean the cemetery, but also create the website about Jewish life in Mszana Dolna, in that city before war. They're also trying to read personal stories, family stories, and of course, remembering the Holocaust. Another example, great example, is Sztedl Dukla with Jacek Koszczan. As you can see in the mountains, cemeteries looks like that. So first of all, it's a really hard work to clean all of those grass and all of those leaves, and sometimes to cut the trees. And you have to know that they are very aware of Jewish law, of halacha. So they working according to Jewish law without digging under the ground or doing anything what could be against the law. Another, because my time is almost up, another is a great person. He's on the photo on the left side. the lady Inga Marczyńska. She is artist, educator. In Poland, there is a whole net of people, they working for dialogue. It calls Forum of Dialogue, and she is one of the leaders in Southern Poland. She, of course, takes care of cemeteries. You can see here she cleaned cemeteries in 2021 and another in the last year. And maybe they also, it's not just the cleaning, they also getting knowledge about the history through cemetery. One of those great things, if they discovered the tomb of the daughter of the Tzaddik Elimelech Bajrzyńsk, and you can see it up. It's from the 19th century, but of course there was a tree, so it was not possible to cut the tree. Those actions are platform for another thing. Those people started to educate themselves. They are going to many courses. They started to learn the Hebrew or Yiddish. They educate younger generation. As you can see, kids are also involved, which is for me great thing, because as a historian and educator, I would love to see the younger generation take an interest in history. But in the middle, you can see also the exhibition of traditional Jewish cutout made by Inga. And as I talked with her last week, she said that by every exhibition, it's for free. She's very happy to show that people, but also she wants to make a lecture about Jewish history, tradition, and the life before war. Inga and Dariusz, it's another thing that even kids are trying to help. The last I want to show you the great example. Kinga and Dariusz, they work together on the history. On the left side, you can see the tomb of Sala Korzenik and Rachela Pacher. It was located in Kołaczyce, and Inga discovered that history. Those girls, they were teenagers and they were murdered by a collaborator. But the rest of the family and Jewish people were buried in the mass grave not far from them in the wood. But those two girls were buried on a private possession. As you can see, the tomb is broken. Inga said she will not leave those children in peace, because she said they deserve to have a proper Jewish funeral. But it was very hard to agree with the person who owns the land. And according to halacha, it is not allowed to exhumate people. But talking with the rabbis, they checked the place, and they allowed during the special circumstances to exhumate those girls. And as you can see on the right side, there is a tombstone with the Magen David, and two girls are together transported to the cemetery of Tarnów, and now it's available for everyone to give them respect. Why is so important? Because this story shows that the heritage we have in Poland, and maybe not everyone appreciated, is difficult, but there is things they are built on that experience, for another generation and for younger people to create better history. With my presentation, I wanted to show you that maybe it looks apologetic for you. I didn't want that because, as you know, like every country, especially Poland, we still face some anti-Semitic problems or problems with government and states. Also, the local authorities are not always happy to dig in the history because that history is tragic for many peoples on different levels. But I wanted to show you a few initiatives of very ordinary people, not connected with any organization, without funding. They are spending their free time, their money to change the future. So I think it should be more recognized to show that something has changed, and the last 15 years is a change in my area. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Our friends with us, maybe 1 or 2 questions for our friends. You know, Katarzyna, your topic was changes in shaping the memory, and we feel it in your lecture and Professor Widawski lecture. You know, if someone talk about tourism and the Holocaust, you know, it's the opposite, but
Yes.
we can talk about it today in a very open way. It's not easy, but
I think it's connected because I showed very ordinary people what they're doing. They're creating also the websites. So people from all around the world, it's what Professor Widawski said, they can open the internet and see what's there and what they want to do. And there is always contact. They can reach people and ask those questions they have.
And
of course, tourism can be a class in the field, so which is always much more attractive and keeps you better your memory. You remember better what it's all about. So the very important role of tourism here is to make people not forget the strategy, so that this shouldn't be repeated. Never. That's why tourism is so crucial. And although it's very difficult to face the truth, we have to. We simply have to.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will come. Bye bye. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.